Hello everyone, this is Ross from retrodreambeam. I'm an eBay seller full-time. I've been doing this with my fiance Netta for more than 3 years now. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm about to go into what we were shipping out on after Christmas. So Christmas, obviously the post office wasn't open. Hope everyone had a good one. But yeah, so we have the back end of Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and this morning so far. Have a lot of items. The sales were kind of all over the place. One of the days was really good, and then the other two were kind of mediocre, but still a lot to ship out. It's basically like a mini weekend. We also took off the time. We played some games and just relaxed. But yeah, the first thing right here is this Altiplano Sunny Days board game expansion pack. I forget exactly what particular board game this is. I think there's like a llama or a camel or something on the front. I haven't played this one, but people like to pick up these different expansion packs. This right here, you can see has like a bunch of cards. Yeah, and then this just adds extra stuff for your game. And this is by Renegade Games over here, Studios. They do a lot of good stuff. Yeah, this one ended up selling for $6.99 plus shipping. Everything's going to be plus shipping. Up here is not always the price that it's going to be sold at. We take offers. Most of our stuff is offers. So this one just happened to not sell in an offer. All right. Next up is going to be these 6. These are really cool civilian fantasy, traveling metal miniatures. I couldn't figure out what brand they were, but I figured someone who's playing role-playing games is going to actually there's like a maker's mark down over there. But yeah, someone's going to appreciate these as cool civilians. Like I know a lot of dungeon masters want to have like figures that represent NPCs that the players can interact with. These look like fun to paint. So yeah, these end up going for $16.79. I know I said everything is going to be sold in an offer, but they happen to just take that price right there. Or maybe I actually figured out how to put this up here correctly. We'll find out. All right. Next up is going to be these 9 Advanced Squad Leader. That's going to be the miniature game. There's a bunch of scenarios, modules. A lot of people like it. It's a pretty in-depth strategy game. There used to be a way for where the players would get these hole punched sheets right here. These were like rules updates, almost like they weren't doing it by like the internet or whatever. They would just like get these little, they would have a binder with the rules, and anytime there would be addendums or updates, they would add these sheets to their binder of rules. So some people are still going to want the physical product. A lot of this stuff, most of it players get online now from when I was like researching this stuff. But yeah, this is just like 9 sheets. Someone probably wants, like I said, to have the physical pages for this particular game. $15.39 for that one. All right, moving along is going to be this big box PC game, MechWarrior 2 expansion pack. It still has like the little dollar price sticker up over there. This one I did take an offer. I'll let you know the price that I took in a moment. But yeah, I like these big box PC games. Some of them can be pretty good. There was someone that wanted this game international, but then they said that they couldn't purchase it from us, and we kept having that issue over and over again. And at this point, I kind of just think it's either like user error on their side, maybe something's wrong on their account, or it just can't be shipped to their country for one reason or another. And Netta and I have tried many different ways. We called customer service. Our whole account has eBay international shipping. We don't exclude anyone at all. So yeah, the fact that sometimes once in a while, it's been a while since that problem came up where someone will mention we can't purchase your stuff. It says that you don't have shipping to our place. And I'm like, no, we have everything on. So I have to suspect at some point it's not on our end. It's on their end. Maybe they have something wrong on their account. Or like I said, certain keywords, maybe mech, maybe warriors, bad for international shipping or whatever the country's rules are. Every country has different rules and what can or can't be shipped. But yeah, someone else came in and picked this up, even though someone else was asking questions about it. Took an offer for $55 for this one. That's pretty good for a big box PC game. People do like the collect ones. People do like mechs. This is a pretty popular category. This is also by Activision. So Blizzard Activision down there. Well, I guess they're Blizzard Activision now. Not then, but people like these collecting these games and playing them. All right. Next up is going to be this Traveler RPG, the 2300. This is the Tricolor Shadow. It's like a little adventure booklet, and then also has these tokens. This looks like there's a couple of the tokens missing. That's really not a big deal, honestly. You see me sell the blank ones that people can make their own little tokens, or if you're just missing a piece or two, it's really not a big deal. But yeah, this is a whole adventure. I've seen this I've never played this role-playing game, but I've seen the Traveler stuff before. I've seen this particular lady on different covers and stuff. She must be a main character for it. So yeah, this ended up selling for $17. We took an offer for $17. All right. Next up is going to be this Dungeons and Dragons chainmail miniature. This guy's Stone Spike. I haven't got much of this chainmail game. I have a little bit of bits and pieces in the other room to list. This just reminded me of it. Yeah, this still needs to be glued. There's a little bit I don't know, rusting or something, some kind of marks on these, but it should be fine. They're going to still, build this up, glue it together, and then use it. And I think this was a miniature game where you purchase, like it wasn't collectible. So when you bought a pack, you knew what you were getting, compared to the Dungeons and Dragons miniature game with the plastic pre-painted figures. So yeah, this guy's worth like 16 points. I don't know too much about this game. I haven't gotten much of it, but I do know it sells for like a good amount. This figure only sold for $9.09, but that's still good for like one individual miniatures. All right. Next up are going to be these Napoleonic Russian Grenadiers. I put dark green, I spelled it wrong, or maybe I ran out of characters right here. 1 out of 32 scale, so that's kind of like the toy soldier army men that you can, like the classic ones they can picture. But yeah, people will paint these up, they'll use them in different scenarios. I looked up someone that was, when I was trying to price these, that used them for like a blog type of thing, where they were just like writing down, and they would paint their figures and do different scenes and write about like a battle or something. There's various reasons why people collect these toy soldiers. These end up going for $18. I had a bunch of these. I'm glad I spent the time to organize them. I think these normally, from this particular brand, the Armies in Plastic, I think they come in like the box sets normally. So this was without the box, which is not a big deal. All right. Moving along, we have Priest Volume 1 right here. This is going to be like a manga. I don't know too much about this particular one, but I know a lot of Gen Z and millennials really like manga and anime. There's been a lot of TV shows and movies that have been getting the genre more and more popular. So yeah, I picked these up actually a long time ago, really cheap. You can tell there's still some wear on it, but someone's going to appreciate they're just going to read it, right? They're not going to want a pristine one. They just want a cheap manga. Like, it's a relatively cheap-ish hobby compared to some other stuff. Like this one, I took an offer for $6. I took a slightly lower offer than I normally would have wanted to, but I was like, it's like a little bit used. It should be fine. It's going to go into someone's hands and they're going to enjoy reading it. All right. Moving along, we have Zombicide Black Plague, which is like their more popular expansion. Zombicide has too much stuff, has a lot of stuff. It's actually hard for me to even go through it because I only played the base game in 2013. I actually didn't like it that much. It's one of the games where I was playing in the middle of it. I kind of opted out after like a scenario. I just thought it was like too basic or something. I don't know. It just didn't it didn't appeal to me. But I know this game is super popular for a lot of people. It's by Cool Miniatures or not. I don't know where it stands right now. I know they still have Kickstarters for current stuff, I believe. But yeah, and I know there's like always like drama with Kickstarters in general, or Cool Miniatures or not. It's hard to track these particular companies unless if you're like in the Kickstarter and you know what's going on. For example, I bought a bunch of Kingdom Death stuff like 7 years ago. I'm still getting stuff to this day, so I'm kind of more tuned into that, knowing how that particular game is going right now. But yeah, these are character boards. I'll still get bits and pieces to Zombicide. It's kind of hard for me to figure out how to list them. This was easy because I'm like, okay, 6 character boards. Someone's going to want more character boards for whatever reason. These end up going for $17.49. Like, I do find Zombicide bits and pieces all the time. I'll find like the little cards and stuff, but because it's been so long since I've played, it's a little bit harder for me to figure it out. There's really a lot of stuff about this particular game. They really separated everything to keep their business going, and they were successful. So if I had to take a guess, there's probably like 500 to 1,000 different SKUs for this game. That is a guess in the dark. I could probably go on Board Game Geek and then like actually click on expansions to see how many there are. All right. But people love this game, even though it's one of my least favorites. Next up is going to be a Funko Pop miniature. I'm not a fan of Funko Pops either, so we got 2 back-to-back. I normally like to uptalk stuff, but I still have to I don't know, I just never got into them. I know a lot of people did. I think my least favorite part was the eyes are always the same. I just thought like the quality was low, but people collect them. They'll have various numbers. I've talked to people who love this stuff. They tell me about how certain ones will go retired and then they won't be made anymore. So sometimes that increases the price of them. There is a whole world of collecting the pop stuff. I don't know where it stands today. If it's on the up or the down, or if it goes through waves. No idea. There's a ton of them. I only get them if they're basically free or a throw-in. I will occasionally have people I buy stuff from, and then they're like, "Oh, we have these," and I'm like, I don't know, a couple bucks more for them, and they're like, "Sure, whatever." They also don't care about them. But $7 for She-Hulk. People like the Marvel stuff. They like all the characters. She-Hulk's probably more of a mid-tier character, from my understanding. I don't know too many people that are a huge fan of her compared to just a classic Batman. But yeah. Got $7 for that one. I'm actually pretty happy for that. These are very easy to list, and people care about the corners and stuff. So you can see it I'm taking pictures of all these different sides just so people can see the condition. All right. Next up, this is a cool one. This is Europa. This is an empty box. I've talked about this board game series. I got a bunch of box boxes and pieces. It was just like basically a collection. Just like imagine someone took like 12 board games, put them in a box, and then shook it. I'm no joke. I ended up listing all the papers together and the rule sheets. I think I sold that for 70 to 90 bucks. The tokens, I kind of listed everything kind of separately as possible because they did have some of the tokens in the baggies. This is like a board game series where there's a ton of them. I think there's like 20 something within this Europa series. If you get them complete, one, it's hard to count because there's literally thousands of pieces in these, like actual thousands. But yeah, these do sell for a lot. People like playing the game. It's like a well thought out game. There you go. Game Designers Workshop. They're going through all the wars in Europe, I think, is if you play them in order, which would take a long time. This is just the box right here. As you can tell, I try to take pictures of all the corners and stuff like that so people know what they're getting, just because this whole thing is still expensive. Getting it just like new, so people will still pay for the parts. $10.49 for that one. That's what I got. This is for repeat buyer. This is just for an empty box. Literally just an empty box right there. All right. Next up is going to be the Conquistador, the Age of Exploration map encounters only. This right here is going to be one of these strategy and tactics games, which is a magazine. You'll get these games. It would be a magazine. The rules are in the middle, part of the magazine. Then you get one of these token counter sheets right here. Even though there's still some marks here, this is still perfectly fine. And then you get the map, usually like one or two maps along with it. Let me see. Like this. And then you just go ahead and you get a game. It's pretty cool. Sometimes they're also like expansions to games. Sometimes they're also just like updates to games. So people like them. I got $12.68 for this one. Also to a repeat buyer. All right, moving along. I think this got returned to us at some point. The slots expansion, some kind of like custom little game with two little battleships and a dice right here. Really interesting thing. I like to pick out these things people pass by, and I like to pick them up because I'm like, this is cool. How many exist out there in the world when someone like makes a little custom game? Maybe they like printed a little bit in a factory. Maybe it was in the 90s or 2000s. Oh, this one says 2013. So yeah, really small, cool expansion thing. I think someone returned this at one point. They just were like, it wasn't what they were expecting. I got it back. I took what I thought was better pictures to make it clear that this is what you get. It's like a little expansion. $13.50 for this. So that means we get to get the shipping, because we charge people for shipping, but when it gets shipped back, we eat the cost for that. So now we get a little bit of money back, and someone's going to appreciate it. All right. Next up is going to be a set of 6 Risk player pieces. There was a time, I did a video a long time ago. If you take a look at the channel, maybe like a year or two ago, I got a ton of Risk pieces. I always pick these up because people are looking for specific years. Right here, you can see these are like the cannon ones with the little infantry, with the horses. There's the Roman numeral ones. There's also variations on these particular pieces. Some are like bigger, some are smaller, some are like better quality. It really depends on the year. I think these were, I didn't put the year here, but if I had to take a guess, this looks like 1998 or around there. This looks like around the time when my dad was playing a bunch of Risk with his buddies, and I would occasionally play. They let me roll some dice and play a little bit for someone. They'd be like, okay, we're doing these 2 attacks when I was like, whatever age I was at, like 1998, it was probably like 10 or so. So yeah, I know people pick these up. It's not a lot of money, $8.82. I don't exactly like count the pieces, if that makes sense. Like, I don't think it matters. People just want a batch of them. They just want to make sure they see them. Sometimes I'll actually lay out these pieces. Like, I'll lay out all the red ones, horses and stuff. This listing actually looks like I did not do that. Maybe that's why it took longer to sell. Maybe some people did want to know the exact count. I mean, obviously, if I have like 5 pieces of each color, I need to let people know. They just want like a set. All right. Next up is going to be this Jeanne d'Arc Blu-ray disc right here. I don't know if I said that right, the particular title. Never seen this movie. I know this is one that a lot of people have seen. And then I rented a bunch of movies at the library. I think you might be able to see them in frame. There's like 20 or something. We've been like going through them. We haven't had time yesterday because it was Christmas and stuff. But yeah, this is going international. This sold for $15. We really think physical media, we like want to be picking up more and more of this stuff if we had more space or more time, because like I really think physical media like DVDs and books is going to be increasing in people's minds for like a entertainment option, as they want to get away from digital stuff, as they want to watch like a DVD without ads, stuff like that. If their favorite movie gets ripped away from a streaming service they're paying for, and now it's like a comfort movie they want to watch, they go, oh yeah, they can just buy the Blu-ray or DVD. So even this one, like $15 is relatively cheap. All right, next up is going to be a lot of 50 plus Warhammer 40k, like 40k and fantasy bits and pieces. These are kind of all over the place. I could have done more effort to organize these and probably get a lot more money out of it, but I was okay with making a bunch of lots, letting people look through them. As you can tell, these are really just random bits and pieces right here. You got some wings, like these are, that red one, that red arm thing, I think is going to be from Warhammer Underworlds, because I think they have like different colored miniature pieces. So you got lots of random stuff right here. I let people look through it. I even give like a bigger close-up right here, just so as you can see, I'm looking through it, they can look through it. Maybe something's rare in here. It was a good box. It was a big box of pieces. I made like 160, 70 listings or something. This ended up going for $16 right there. As you can tell up here, it was in bin 8 and baggie number 117. It took like a week or so to list. All right, took a little bit longer than I thought. Next up is going to be this Lego store Duplo, the bigger Legos. This is actually going to be from the Woodfield Mall shop here in Illinois. This is a grand opening 2003 Lego piece. I had multiple of these. I got them from a storage unit flipper, so I didn't get this. I've been to that Lego store one time. It was a pretty interesting one. They have a lot of like events and stuff. It's kind of like, I want to say mostly for kids. I know adults can be into Legos. Like we like some Lego stuff too, and Annetta likes Lego kits. She has some that she like occasionally builds, but like in general, I think the store is like designed for kids. But yeah, this is a cool piece that someone can use because it has like their grand opening. I don't know if it's nostalgic for them or if this person just likes collecting these. This is like a rare piece, right? You know, after 2003, you couldn't get this anymore. I don't think you can other than like eBay. I have another one up here. It says check and relist pictures. I had one left. It had like marks on the side, so I did have to take a new picture. This ended up going for $12.59. But yeah, when you're in an area around different stores and stuff, or like museums and stuff, you'll find the stuff because you're within the area, if that makes sense. I know there was someone I was talking to that they're by like Disney World, so they can get like, you know, pamphlets and stuff because they're by there, so you kind of just see it at estate sales and stuff nearby. It's common for them, but more rare for other people. All right, next up is going to be this Zima Treasure Trap Family Action Arcade game. This one's makes me a little bit nervous. It's super cool. I saw this. I had never seen this game before. I didn't see it when I was growing up, so I was like, oh, I gotta get this one. It does look like one of those games where like if stuff's not like working, it could be like a return. If this comes back as a return, I'm just gonna keep this myself. It has like the tape, so it's still sealed. There's no like real way to test it. It probably needs like new batteries. But yeah, this looks like a pretty cool, like a pretty cool like grungy game, but actually like good quality for the grunge, if that makes sense. It almost looks like a claw machine, but it's gonna be different, right? You're like pulling stuff. So yeah, I thought that was a super cool one when I saw it. I'm glad someone picked it up finally. I think I did ask a little bit more for it. It's from 1994, so it's an older one. It sold for $21. All right. Next up, super good sale right here. This is going to be Shadows of Brimstone, the Old West Allies expansion pack. Shadows of Brimstone is going to be this co-op game. It's a game that's been recommended to me. You buy these big boxes, which is a whole campaign, and then there's like additional big box expansions in different worlds and different themes. It's similar to like the game Gloomhaven I've played. So if you play Gloomhaven, this is just an older kind of version of it with the Wild Wild West, with Cthulhu, with some fantasy. So it's kind of like a mix of everything, a little bit of Indiana Jones. This is just an expansion pack. The expansion packs can be expensive. This is just missing the miniatures, which would have added a lot of value to this one. But yeah, this thing is complete except for the rules, which you can look them up online and you can get a PDF pretty easily for board game rules, and then without the miniatures. But this ended up, we took an offer for $70 for this one. So yeah, this is also without the box. But yeah, that's a pretty good one. It's a game that I should play. I haven't. I just know a little bit about it. I used to see it demoed at conventions way back in the day. I think it was like 2006 or 8. Let's see if there's, I can't see a year here. Yeah, maybe this one's an older one, I'm pretty sure. Oh, nope, it says 2016, at least for this particular expansion. I don't know what the age of the base game was. All right, next up is going to be this Ronnie Dawson Select Singles music CD. This is like a library copy. I think someone wanted us to test this to make sure that it's not skipping, so they asked if there were scratches. There's no scratches. I like looked at it in person. I usually don't list stuff with scratches. But yeah, we can test this to make sure it doesn't skip. Don't know anything about this musician. Got a bunch of CDs for $75 for the full car full. This ended up selling for $6.99. So that's awesome. Physical media, it's really good. Next up is this Battlestar Galactica loot crate. This is going to be a particular Cylon Raider ship. The only thing I know about Battlestar Galactica is I played like the board game. That was a really good board game. I haven't seen the movie or TV show. Maybe at some point I should. I know like a really loose premise of the show. But yeah, this is just going to be one of the Cylon ships. This is like one of those collectible things, like those bobbleheads and just like those little tchotchkes. You get them. People still like them. They like the loot crate stuff. This ended up only selling for $7. That's about what I would expect for like a loot crate item. But there was one loot crate item that I got that sold for like $41. It was like a pencil sharpener. It was like a Dracula one or something. I don't even know why it sold for that much at the time. That was like the first year of us doing eBay. We were at like Goodwill. I was already done searching, and then I was checking up some couple more items. I went to like a little shelf. I picked up one thing. It was like that pencil sharpener, and I looked it up. I'm like, $40. Okay, cool. It was the most random good find I ever found at like a Goodwill by just like apathetically picking up something and looking it up. It was that lucky. All right. Next up is going to be this Rust teddy bear, and then I used to pick up plushies. You can tell this one's actually like a good quality, like a soft one. It's clean. Yeah, people like it. Various different plushies. I don't like listing plushies. We still have a couple bags to list from like a bunch that we used to get, or Netta. I guess Netta would pick them out mostly. She was paying like 10 cents to quarters for these things. She would just go through and find all the clean ones, the good brands. She liked this brand. I guess this is Raspberry Ashley or something like that. I'm not like too knowledgeable about the plushies. $9.07. So nothing like too crazy, not like a crazy flip, but they were technically like really cheap. All the plushies was probably like $20 total that we ever like spent on, and I still have some to list. All right. Next up is going to be this Avalon Hill Squad Leader. This is also, no, it's not the Europe. I was going to say it's going to be similar. Didn't we sell something else? Oh yeah, we sold the rule sheets with the hole punches. This is going to be 4 different reference sheets. It's really hard for me to like figure out like which module these come in. Are they the same rules? Are they different? The only thing that they'll occasionally have is like down here, like this right here says this is from 1978 and it's 2nd edition. So that might be relevant to someone. I take a picture of the front and back. These are all just like the different stats. You use this when you're playing the game. Instead of bring out the rule book, you just have a reference sheet. So if you need to know something like a quick rule right here, it will have all the information on it. These ended up selling for $10.49. All right, moving along, we have Dungeons and Dragons Battle for Faerun. These are Dice Master booster packs. These things would come with, I think, 2 dice and 2 cards. There's different rarities. There's like super rares, commons, uncommons right here. You'll make a little deck of cards with these cards that come in here, and then you also have the dice that you roll, which are represented by the card, and then you do like a duel. At least normally this is like a Marvel game, but they also have Ninja Turtles, they have Yu-Gi-Oh!, they have the Dungeons and Dragons. So there's going to be multiple people that might want to pick this up. They might just like Dungeons and Dragons, the particular Faerun world, because you have like Beholders, the Green Dragons, the Mind Flayers, Red Dragon over there. Like there's like cool figures. Someone just might like to collect it for the dice. This kind of game, it came out and then they did not have enough supply, so the hype died down. It took like a year or so for them to get more starter sets out for people. So yeah, the game kind of they still produced a bunch of sets that they probably had in the works over a couple of years, but like this game I think would still be going strong today if the first year that like the Marvel set came out, if they actually had starter sets. I remember starter sets were supposed to be like $15 and they were like kind of selling for 60 to 80 on eBay when the set first came out. And that's because it was just kind of like too much of an exponential price point for people wanting to play a newer dice game at the time. But yeah, 10 packs here sold for $10. These were actually sold at $1 a piece. I did not pay $1 a piece for these, but back in the day, the draw for this game was you pay $1 for a pack for 2 things. So it's supposed to be like a really fun budget thing for people to pick. But yeah, after fees, I get less than that. So these sold for less than MSRP. All right. But I didn't pay that much for them. I get them for cheap because I know Dice Masters, it's like a cheaper thing right now, at least. It might eventually go up in price at some point. All right, moving along, we have Heroes of Normandy. This is going to be the Civilians Under Fire token boards. This Heroes of Normandy game, it's like a board game. It has more of these like cartoon arts, but they have all these tokens. It's almost like it's a tactical game. They have like the base game, and then they have a ton of expansions. I don't know too much about it. I've never talked to anyone that's been into the game, but I sell the bits and pieces on eBay a lot. Like I noticed that this stuff sells relatively quickly, so people are going to want more and more of these figures. yeah, I don't know. I just do good luck with them. $27.29. It's kind of hard to figure out what expansion these things go to. Sometimes I'll just get a bunch of bits and pieces, and I'll just be like, you know what? I'm making just like a big lot here because there is a lot of expansions to this. And because I've never talked to someone that's played the game, I don't know as much about it. But I know people like it. That's all that matters. All right. I don't know if I said 27.29 for that. Moving along, we still have a couple more. Yeah, we still have a couple more. Frostgrave, this fantasy war game book. This is, you pick like a wizard or like a necromancer. You have a couple of, minions on your field, and then you do a quick little battle. This has all of the rule books. They have a couple of expansion books. I have plenty of this particular book. Like, I have a lot of it. I've sold this one. I keep coming across it really cheap for like a quarter or 50 cents. There is a second part, but the players still play the first part. The second part is almost just like an update book, and then the first book is technically way cheaper than the second book. But yeah, this ended up going for $8 to repeat buyer. I had another one right up there, check and relist new pictures, right up over here. So I went ahead and did that at the storage unit. This is probably our highest quantity item we've like sold for like it being kind of like a unique niche particular item. Yeah. We'll get batches of like 4 or 5 of this, and then we sell out, and then later on I'll like find it somewhere else and get a bunch more. All right, move along. We have this Warhammer 40k miniature rule book. I don't know if I did a correct title at some point. This got one person where they thought it was like the big rule book, and mini probably wasn't the best terminology because the game is a miniature game, and some people use like the terminology mini. I was trying to say mini as in it's a 6-inch by the 8-inch, so it's like a smaller rule book. They usually come in like starter sets. It's kind of like, it has the rules. It's more of a reference thing. As you can tell, that there's like, there's a lot here. There's lots of pages. There's like 100, yeah, like about 100 pages. So there's a lot to this particular rule book. So, but yeah, one person thought it was gonna be like a big giant one, which they do have giant ones. But yeah, this ended up going for $9.45. I don't know why I sell these often, the small ones. I guess people just like the little small pocket size. This is probably like an edition that's not around anymore. I can't remember which edition this was. I did not put it in the title. Probably because I couldn't figure out, so I didn't want to make a mistake. All right. Next up is going to be Deadlands. This is going to be Great Rail Wars Miniature Battle. I guess some kind of miniature game for Deadlands is going to be like a Wild Wild West, like poker themed. You can see all like the different like guns and stuff. I guess there's some zombies in this right here by Pinnacle Entertainment. You've seen me do the collectible card game. They also have like Doomtown. What else do they have? They also have role-playing game books. So it's like this, people like this particular realm. This is just like a little double-sided poster. So this is like, I think it's a cool poster. This is a pretty cool one right here. So yeah, it's talking about all the different RPG books you can get right there. We've sold some of those books before. We'll find them. I didn't know that they had a t-shirt and stuff. That's probably some good stuff. And the miniatures are probably pretty decent there. They have a CD. All right, there you go. Then I'm going for $5.12. It's just a poster. It's going international, so I'm going to appreciate it. Last item for the day is going to be this HeroClix. This is the GPCD cruiser from like the Batman series. This is the first set that they introduced vehicles. I don't know if they have. Oh, right here is the set symbol. The little bat right here is going to be different colors. I think that I'm not too sure what the bigger figures, sometimes they always have the same color, like this like bronze whatever color usually means like super rare or limited edition, but I think this was just like a collectible vehicle figure you would get in the pack. This set was super popular. This particular set, I remember when I was actually playing when this set came out. It was kind of like the first set where they actually increased the power level of the DC universe. Normally, like, it's a point-based game. This thing, I think, is over there. You see it's 52. This is worth 52 points. You usually play like 300 or 450 points for like your army. You could do more. You could play with your friends and do like 1,000 points. We used to do stuff like that. But yeah, I lost my train of thought. I completely lost my train of thought by getting distracted by the points right there. But yeah, normally the Marvel figures would be like more powerful per point. Like 100-point Marvel figure would be usually just like a lot more powerful than a 100-point DC figure. And this is the set that they kind of upped. There was a lot of good Batman character classic ones with like a Joker and Bane and stuff where they finally had like a good piece, because this like HeroClix was still up and going during this time. It's still going pretty strong. But yeah, this ended up going, I think I got the $17.49 for this. So another last thing about the HeroClix is when I was doing my live the other day, there used to be a website that I would use to look up HeroClix prices. Obviously, you can look it up on eBay. This website I happen to use, I think it was like trollandtoad.com. It would be really easy to just like turbo type in like, the cruiser, see what the price that they had it, just to see if it's worth more than $1 or $5. I could like separate stuff by piles just going quickly, where eBay would be a little bit slower. You have to cycle through all like the incorrect listings, or not incorrect listings. If I typed in like this cruiser right here, I'm gonna get other stuff from the Batman sets. Just how the algorithm / AI works at this point. So it just makes it harder to look for like a quick price guide. But I don't think they do HeroClix anymore because they stopped doing new cards. So it kind of makes me want to. That actually made me want to list more of the super rares and rares I get in HeroClix on eBay, because like one of the big players is not doing as much. So I still think HeroClix is relatively cheap for like what it is compared to other games. If you go to like Magic the Gathering or Pokemon or usually other collectibles, if you go into like the older years, that stuff's usually expensive. Where HeroClix is like you can get some really good cheap pieces from like 10, 15, 20 years ago. It's crazy. So like, yeah, this is just my personal thing. I'm going to be picking up more HeroClix and listing them. It was interesting. I was thinking about listing more HeroClix. I normally do lots when I mean like listing more HeroClix, just like listing them individually. This sold, and I'm like, yeah, that plus the other website not selling them anymore. I was like, you know what? eBay almost is like the crazy good place to get the HeroClix now. And I don't know if enough people are respecting this game. It's still going strong to this day. WizKids is pretty powerful with this particular game, the Marvel and DC, and they have other IPs and stuff. All right, it's enough rambling about that. Hope everyone had a good Christmas. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Hope everyone has a good weekend.